Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Let's Build a Theme Park here at the KT Adventures. Now it's been around a month now since I released episode 4. There's been a lot happening since the theme parks here in the UK opened, so I've not really had time to edit and release the Planet Coaster episodes. But I have been playing the game when I have had chance, and now I'm finally able to show you what I've been building. So in the last 4 episodes, we've begun building this huge theme park, which I'm going to have 5 or 6 different themed areas. So far, we've built the entrance plaza with the car park, and also the main train station. In the past few episodes, we've been building the pirate themed area of the park, which is now complete. So if you want to go check those episodes out, I'll leave links down in the description below, and also there is a dedicated playlist to this series too. The pirate themed area has a dark ride which is kind of similar to Pirates of the Caribbean at the Disney parks, but of course I've put my own spin on it. With everything in this series, I want to make everything my own. I'll take inspiration from other rides, but I definitely want every ride and attraction and area as well to be my own creations and not recreations. If you want to see recreations, then go check out the Planet Coaster Roller Coaster Recreation 1 Hour Challenge series, which we have here on the channel, and that's where I take real life coasters and try to recreate them in Planet Coaster in just 1 hour. It's a super fun series, so if you want to go and see recreations, then go check that out, and I'll leave links down in the description below. So far we've done a few coasters at Alton Towers like Rita and Nemesis, and also the Smiler as well, even though that one was a bit of a fail, but we've also done the Incredible Hulk coaster, which is at Islands of Adventure. So if you want to go check that series out, I'll leave the links down in the description below. But if you want to check out brand new creations that have come from my own head, then this is the series for you. So now that we built the pirate themed area, we're now moving on to this brand new themed area which is jungle themed. Now I've had so many ideas for this area, and that's why I wanted to move on to it next. And also I found that it fit in quite well next to the pirate island, because although it's different, it still uses sort of the same scenery. So if you stood in Pirate Island and you look towards the next area, it wouldn't be too much different. If I decided to build the alien invasion area instead, for example, it would be a huge jump from being on the pirate island to then being inside a city which is being overrun by aliens. So that's another reason I've decided to go with a jungle themed area. Now, as I said, I haven't had time to edit these videos, but I have been playing the game and I have almost now completed this jungle themed area. So I can confirm that this section of the park will take 3 episodes, so stay tuned for all of those because they're all going to be coming up within the next few weeks. And in today's video, we're going to be starting to build the first coaster in the park, and I loved building this coaster. Now don't get me wrong, it was fun building that huge pirate dark ride, but the amount of detail and scenery that you have to put into a dark ride, it can get quite tiring after so many hours. So it was really nice to finally build a coaster in the park. Having said that, as you'll see, this coaster does actually have an indoor section, or should I say underground section. In the end, this underground section, it looks really good, and although you can't tell it's built underground, it was very tricky to use that terraforming tool. The main reason I wanted to build underground was because I wanted to make it look quite mysterious. Like, you'll see the station building and think it's just an outdoor coaster, but what you don't see is the big indoor section before the main part of the coaster takes place. So with the jungle theme, I thought it would only be right to go with a temple themed ride. I took inspiration from The Mummy over at Universal Studios in Orlando, but overall this was mainly my idea and it was an original creation. Now I love it when a coaster or a ride has a backstory, it just makes the overall experience even better, so that's what I wanted to go for with this coaster that I'm building in this episode. So the story behind this ride that I wanted to go for is that a hidden temple has been discovered deep within a jungle, and although they're still learning about this previously undiscovered temple, they have set up a tour so that the general public can take a look inside. And as you can imagine, it doesn't all go to plan. I'll explain more in the next episode when we start adding the more theming into the indoor section. But for now, that's the story I'm going with. So let me know your thoughts on the story, or if you want me to add anything to the story, let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, that's what I've got so far. So now that I've gone over what this area and ride is all about, I'm going to stop rambling on, but I'll join you again in a few minutes and I'll tell you a bit more about what's coming up in this series and also some news about what's coming up on the channel. So now that I've spoken a bit about what's happening in this video, I want to move on to what's happening on the channel and what's been happening on the channel. I like to use these Let's Build a Theme Park videos to just have a chat and keep you updated with things that are happening here at the KD Adventures, as well of course building the theme park. So it's been around a month since the last Planet Coaster episode, and that's because the UK theme parks have finally reopened, and all I can say is it has been amazing to be back at the parks. If you live in the UK yourself, you'll know that we've been stuck in our houses for far too long, so being back at a theme park has just been amazing. We went back to Alton Towers for opening day, which was really fun. It was a little bit busy, but that was expected, but we still had a really good day. We also took a visit to Blackpool Pleasure Beach for the first time ever, which was amazing. It was so incredible, I loved it. It was really good to get on some of those rides for the first time, and Icon, it has taken the top of the list of my favourite rides in the UK. And straight after that we went back to Alton Towers the next day, and we had a really good day there because the schools were back, so it was super quiet, and we managed to get on so many rides. Along with that, I also conquered my fear kind of flat rides and went on the Blade, which is the pirate ship at Alton Towers, and Jessie conquered her fear of the Smiler. So it was an amazing day, and it was great to get back to a park with it being so quiet. And those vlogs can be found on the channel now, so if you want to go check them out, I'll also leave the links down in the description below. So what's next for the channel? Well, this month is also going to be a busy one for the parks, but all the trips are going to be happening at the end of the month. So from now until June I'll be releasing these Planet Coaster episodes, so hopefully I'm going to be releasing all 3 of them this month. I'm not certain, but I'm going to aim for doing that. And along with that, I'm also going to be giving some park updates and also some more Disney content, because if you're a regular here on the channel, you know that's what I love talking about the most. But in terms of vlogs though, we'll be heading back to Alton Towers for the brand new Mardi Gras event, which is going to be amazing. We'll also be heading to Chessington World of Adventures for the first time for a 2-day trip. The Chessington vlogs will more than likely take up the whole of June, because I'm planning on making travel vlogs for that trip too, which will be a first for the channel. Jessie and I, we both don't drive, so even though we live in the UK, it's still quite a long way to travel as we live quite far from Chessington. We'll also be staying at the hotel at Chessington, so we'll be showing off that in the travel vlog too. And what's even better about that is that when we go, it will be just when hotels are allowed to open again. So we'll be able to show all the new procedures and how the hotel's running just after it's opened. And of course, along with the travel vlog, there will also be a 2-part Chessington vlog series at the park itself. So it's going to be really fun. I just bought a new GoPro to take with me. I can't film on any of the rides at Chessington, but I'll still be using it for footage. But talking of taking you on rides, hopefully I will be able to finally at some point this month, because we'll be heading to Fantasy Island here in the UK. And now they sometimes allow you to film on GoPros, so I've got my fingers crossed that they'll let me, but we'll just have to see. Either way, we'll be heading there and showing you all the new updates for 2021. So there's a lot happening here on the channel over the next couple of months. We also have something else planned in November, but that is a big secret. I'll be going into more details about what we have planned when I know for sure we can actually do it. Because even though things are easing here in the UK, things change all the time, and I don't want to hype up a trip again only to have it cancelled. And we've had that too many times now. We've had 2 Florida trips cancelled on us, so I don't want to have more disappointment by announcing it here yet. But we will be announcing it soon, so stay tuned for that. It feels great to be back at the parks again and doing vlogs again, because that's why I made this channel, to go on all the adventures. So I'm really glad that things have finally started to look like they're going back to normal. I've got my fingers crossed anyway. But anyway, back onto this video, and as you can see, it's really starting to take form now. I've just started adding in the scenery for the underground section. Now I don't add too much into this episode, but in the next Planet Coaster episode, it will mainly be focusing on adding in the scenery and the theming. The coaster itself wasn't too hard to build. I changed the track a couple times, but overall it was nothing too difficult. This coaster is a family coaster, so even though it has a couple inversions, it's still nothing too intense. I'm saving the intense coasters for other areas in the park, like I have a huge one in mind for the Alien Invasion area, and also another big coaster planned for the fantasy area. With the jungle area, the main ride here will be this temple coaster, but I've also started building some rapids. Now if I'm going to be putting in rapids into this park, it's the perfect area to do it in because I can base it around a jungle river. I've also added a flat ride or two in. I think the main challenge with flat rides is making them fit in well with the surroundings. Alton Towers did a great job with that with the Retro Squad, which are 3 temporary flat rides that they've placed throughout the park. The 2 which are located in Forbidden Valley and X Sector, they look great. But the waltzers over in Dark Forest, they do stand out a little bit more, but they've done their best. I mean, it's always going to be difficult to make waltzers not stand out in a spooky themed forest. But yeah, as you'll see in episode 3, I added in a couple flat rides and tried to make them fit in with the jungle theme as much as possible. I think with this coaster, I really wanted to create something that tells a story, and as you'll see after the next episode, I think I've done a good job of it. If you've got any suggestions for this area or any of the other areas in the park, then let me know down in the comments. So far I'm planning on building an alien invasion area, which will be a city that's been overrun by aliens, a Wild West area, a fantasy area, and also a spooky area too. But if you have any more ideas, then let me know. Outside of this series, I'm also building a smaller theme park which I don't record. I think it's important to take a break from the big projects sometimes and work on something smaller in between. I mean, after building that huge pirate dark ride for so many hours, it became quite draining. Adding in loads of different bits of scenery and theming, it just takes a long time and it can become quite tiring. So it was nice to start a brand new park off camera and build some coasters and rides in a different park. The idea I'm going with for this second park is a traditional UK park. Not a huge one, but one of the smaller UK parks that you might find. It has a few coasters in there and a bunch of flat rides too. But what's really cool about it is I've made it look like it's on a farm, so it's looking really good. When it's complete, I'll probably do a separate video showing it all, but in terms of showing you the building process, it will just be this park that I'll be showing. So as you can see, I'm just finishing off that first part of the underground temple. This is just a short scene which you pass through as you drop down through the floor, but after this room you'll enter the giant temple room, which has all sorts of treasures and statues, and it'll also have a few cheeky traps in there too. As I mentioned earlier, the most difficult part of building this ride was the terraforming, which if you don't know what that means, it's altering the terrain so that it covers the underground section without disrupting any of the scenes. What makes it even more difficult is that the game doesn't actually allow you to zoom in underground, so if I was to alter anything in the underground section, I literally have to carefully zoom in through that drop hole bit at the start of the ride to get underground. Even though it was pretty difficult, it was worth it because I think it looks really good, and it's also hard to tell when you're above the ground that there's anything underneath. So we're coming to the end of the video now, but just before I leave you with a sneaky POV of what we have so far, I'll quickly go over what will be happening in the next episode. So now that the coaster track is complete, I'll be adding in the theming and scenery and adding the story elements to the ride. I'll also be adding in various temple traps to give it that Indiana Jones style theme. And in the episode after that, I'll be finishing off the area and also adding in the rapids and the flat rides which I spoke about earlier. But that's it for this video. I'm going to leave you with a POV of what we have so far, along with a cheeky clip of the main underground scene which I build in the next episode. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.